Hey guys, welcome back to the Leadership Podcast Show. I'm your host, Stephen Smallwood. Hey, on the show, we explore the heart of leadership. And we also talk about thoughts on just being a good human resource for others. Today's topic is the story you tell yourself. But first, I want to thank you for tuning into the podcast. And I'm grateful because without you, the show wouldn't be possible. So true. I also want to encourage all the listeners to get people in your life who can help you grow. No man is an island. No man stands alone. You guys have heard that before. It's true. We can all use help from people to make ourselves a better version of ourselves. Okay. I also want to thank my mentors. Definitely want to make sure that I thank you for just what you've poured into my life over the years. And you just keep pouring. And I do appreciate it. So I believe the words in the book of Ecclesiastes, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. I believe we do become what we think about. And out of those thoughts, we create our own story. Well, in today's episode, I want to ask you the question, what story are you telling yourself? If the scripture is true, and I believe it is, then we do become what we think about. And if we believe in the law of attraction, that is, that we attract in our lives the things we think about the most, then who we are, our beliefs, our values, they're created from the thoughts we've allowed to dominate our minds. So then the question is, what have you been thinking that's creating the stories that you've been living? And who would you be if you told yourself a different story? So what I'm getting ready to say, guys, I'm getting ready to say something that's really a simple, basic truth. But I had to ask myself this. Because how can something so simple be overlooked? Okay, so here goes. If you focus on negative things, you'll attract it. If you think about positive thoughts, you'll attract more of them. If you're always thankful, more to be thankful for will pour into your life. A friendly person never has to worry about having friends. We normally don't attract what we want, because we attract what we are. That's the law of attraction, and it works without fail, just like the law of gravity, and it's that simple. But owning it could be a challenge. So we have this tendency to blame everything around us for what we experience. Other people, our company, the church, the school, the government, and on, yet what we experience, we help create by what we think. So basic, but you got to take ownership of that. So then you say, well, Stephen, wait a minute. I'm not in control of everything that happens to me. Well, that's true. But how you choose to think about what happened, what you choose to do about what happens, guys, it still determines your experience of what happened. You are still in control of your story. You know, there's this lady named Mary Morrissey. She said, it's not that we don't create our lives. We do. We create out of design or default. We design the life we want to experience, or we default on our past experiences to create our future. You know, and I personally know a lot about her statement because I lived most of my life by default. I tried to make the best decisions, not just on past experiences, but I had the practice of trying to make the best decisions as life was happening. And I'm going to confess, as life was happening, I didn't always make the best decisions. And then some ask, well, what about all the bad choices I made in my life? And guys, we've made a lot of bad past mistakes. What about the people I've hurt along the way? I could have been a better father. I could have been a better husband. I could have been a better sibling. I could have been a better friend. What about all the past decisions that's now part of my story, Stephen? What about those? Well, guys, I think it's a good question. Here's one thing for sure. You can't just go back and tear pages out of your past and wish they wasn't there. Because it did happen. But I'll tell you what you can do. You can acknowledge your past decision. They happen. And all the thinking about them in the world will not change the fact that they did happen. But what we have to do is stop letting them define who you are today. Turn the page and keep writing. You know, the beautiful part of your story is not just the isolated incidents and accidents that happen in your story. The beauty is the journey, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And as we learn better, we do better. And those new pages that we're writing should reflect what we've learned from the mistakes that we made. Hey, and we need to tell people who knew us then, because you're going to have them. Yeah, I remember you then. Yeah, you did then. We need to tell those people who knew us then, hey, God, keep reading, because I'm still writing. My story's not finished. You know, I admit I'm a late bloomer, but I'm starting to bloom again. And I'm encouraging anyone and everyone who's listening to do the same. You know, many of my friends and acquaintances have hit the 60+ mark. And like me, many have had 1 or even 2 successful careers behind them. Many of us has done okay, but we haven't done our best. Because your best can only be accomplished by design, not by default. By intentionally making decisions toward a worthy goal. So I'll tell you this. If you still have the energy, if you still have something you want to achieve, you can start designing the rest of your life right now. You can stop defaulting on your past experiences and continue to write your story. Guys, turn the page. Get to a clean sheet and start designing the life you want to experience. You know, again, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. So what thoughts have you allowed to dominate your life? And then I'll ask the question again. Who would you be if you told yourself a different story? Hey, we'll stop right here. Hey, but don't forget to click and subscribe. And if you know anyone who you think that this may be able to benefit, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone. To follow me and see future topics from other leaders, log on to leadershiponemedia.com, and we'll see you in the next episode.